now, it's Too Late with Alan Mosley.
Guys, welcome back for another episode of It's Too Late. I am your host, Alan Mosley, joined as always by the best producer in all of video casting. It is Blake Osborne. Blake,
Hi, how's it going?
how is it going, man? You doing
It's
all
going
right?
okay. I'm doing good.
These are trying times.
They are very trying.
But, well, I mean, they're trying for you and I for different
Yes.
reasons. They're trying for me because I'm broke and stuck at home. They're trying for you because your family has grown by 6 in like 5 minutes.
It has. 2 of our goats gave birth just the last couple of days. One of them had 4, which is unusual for Nubians, but no, that's good. The good news is we sold 3 of the 6 we have, so that helps a little bit, if that's anything.
I told on myself to
Yeah.
a couple of our friends. I told a few people that, hey, I got a message from Blake, and he said that, he's got like one of his goats had quads, so they have quadruplets. They got 4 new baby goats, and they said, "Oh, that's so cute." And then I said, "Yeah, they look like some good eating."
Oh, come on.
Oh no,
No, we don't eat our Nubians.
no,
Come
dude,
on.
I went to the store,
Yeah.
and the whole back aisle where all the meat products are,
Yeah.
it's all empty.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm coming over for a baby goat. I'm just
Wow.
kidding.
Okay,
Save
okay.
all of your
As
angry
long as
comments.
we don't know, I don't know. No, nobody
No.
eats our Nubians.
We
No,
don't.
these are
Those
Nubians.
them ain't eating goats.
No, they
Them's-
are not eating goats.
Them's show goats.
Those are show goats. Those are milking goats.
Yeah,
Right.
They're Hollywood goats, the ones that you have.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
need to, we ought to have some pictures of your baby goats. That would have instantly made this episode a lot better.
I could have done that, but we didn't.
Oh
have time
well,
this morning,
it's
so.
okay.
Oh well.
These are like we're going to cover a little bit later today about like some of the stuff in the news and the
Yeah.
pandemics
Yeah.
and the closures and all that. But
Mhm.
these are just I'm having a hard time finding like exactly where I fall on some of this stuff.
Yeah,
Because these are definitely strange times.
they are.
And so, sometimes people like to try to find these just, one size fits all answers for everyone.
Yeah,
But that's harder to do when you're facing a situation it's really unlike anything during our lifetime in some ways.
yeah,
And me and Annika had talked about this back at the house. I had told her that, a lot of people, especially like people in my generation, a lot of those people have never lived somewhere or during a time when they couldn't go to the store 24 hours a day and get anything they want.
well, a second time around for me.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because of Hurricane season.
Andrew.
Yeah, because
Mhm. Oh yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I still feel gypped because I was down there for that one hurricane a couple of years ago, and it just rained.
Just a storm. Yeah, you got nothing out of it.
They took it seriously
Yeah.
now. Like they had everyone had to be off the
Yeah,
roads by
yeah.
like 5 the night, like the evening of when the storm was rolling in, and all the everyone that was everyone had their sandbags at their
Yeah.
front door.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying that being prepared is not a good thing.
No,
Goodness
it's a good
knows
thing.
our friend Suzanne Sherman would yell at me if
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
preppers were losers. I'm not by the
no,
way.
no, you're not.
I'm just saying that we did all that,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm like, part of me, I know this sounds so bad. Part of me is a little bit upset that there wasn't like a tree branch flying through the window, and like you see cats and dogs flying
Yeah.
by,
Oh,
like that.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
None of that happened.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I said, I feel a little.
Yeah, little
I
chip.
feel
little
I
chip.
feel like I lost out on.
Hey, but look on the bright side. At least you had plenty of milk toast.
What does that mean?
Milk toast. When you go to the store, like everybody, when they're preparing for a big storm, and they go buy all the bread and they buy all the milk, and they got milk and bread, lots and lots of milk and bread, kind of like the TP situation we're in right now. Although I don't know how that fits into milk toast.
All right, so I gotta admit something.
Yes.
I'm telling on myself twice in one monologue.
You are so guilty today.
So when we had the hurricane, the one
Uh-huh.
down there that we had,
Yeah.
and then also now when we've had all this stuff going on,
Yeah.
I didn't go buy a bunch of bread and milk.
What did you buy?
I bought 1 jar of cheese and some corn chips,
Yeah, there you go.
and I bought some bacon
Bacon.
and some of those, some of the sausage links, but
Yeah.
like the maple
Oh,
sausage,
You like those things?
What do you mean? All you like those? That maple sausage is amazing.
Only if it's real. Not when when they bake the maple syrup into the sausage. Come on, that's nasty. You're supposed to have like regular sausage and you dip it in the maple syrup. I mean, that's the real deal.
I want some goat sausage is what I want.
Yeah.
No, I actually, I'm not joking. That's pretty much it. That was my whole grocery list. I mean, I'm a simple man. I did have, so I had eggs and I had bacon and I had sausage.
You had a great breakfast, man. That's everything.
Well, I mean, and lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
I mean,
all
that's.
three.
Do you ever eat breakfast for dinner?
Yeah. Oh, all the time.
Is that a thing that everybody does, or is that just a Southern thing?
Dude, no. Sometimes that is just absolute heaven, man. Just some eggs and some bacon, and man.
Let me
throw some cereal in there too. You know.
I don't eat cereal.
You don't
dinner.
eat cereal?
No.
Oh, I've had it.
Hey guys, let us know in the chat if other people have breakfast for dinner.
Oh yeah.
I'm just wondering if that's like a regional thing or if everyone does. I'm just curious.
I would think everybody does. I hope they do.
Well, I mean,
they're missing out if they don't.
If I ever go to Waffle House, I always eat breakfast type foods.
Heck yeah.
Although Waffle Houses have closed now,
Well,
which tells you the world's coming to an end.
Good luck, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, if you go to Waffle House for dinner and you eat those types of foods, you're having breakfast for dinner, right?
Yeah.
So it can't just
Absolutely.
be us; it has to be other people.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm just wondering. I'm trying to learn a little bit about other people. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be multicultural or whatever.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a Denny's at like 2:00 in the morning and got yourself some breakfast? It's good stuff.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've ever been to a Denny's.
Really? See, Tennessee needs more doggone Denny's.
No, we have Waffle House. Why would I go to Denny's if I have Waffle House?
Denny's is like Waffle House, but like 3 steps higher because you can get all kinds of other stuff.
There's literally nothing higher than Waffle House. It is the pinnacle of food services.
If they start serving nachos over there, loaded nachos, then they'll take over the world.
We should get sponsored by euthanasia.com and we should get sponsored by Waffle House.
Waffle House nachos, yeah.
Yeah, and if you eat too much Waffle House, you probably feel like going to euthanasia.com.
Yeah.
Guys, we will be right back after this break. Don't go away. If you're enjoying tonight's show, consider supporting the program by becoming a member of our Patreon. That's over at patreon.com/Alan Mosley. Hey, Blake.
Yeah.
What time is it?
It's time for Meme of the Week. Yes.
Hold on. Yes, I like to report some people not living in fear.
Nah. Look at her.
That's a Karen right there.
Ooh, yeah, look at her. Look how mean. Look at the mean look in her face.
Okay, so I have to admit something here.
Yes.
So when I picked this out as the meme of the week, I was gonna do this whole bit about how that's a Karen. You know, Karens.
Yeah,
They have the hair and they want to see the manager and they tell on people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I remembled your mom's name's Karen.
But my mom is nothing like that. She's a German Karen.
No. I just wanted to preface this with Blake's mom. I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying that that's an internet thing. That Karen is the just name for all the snotty women who tell. Okay. I'm just making. I didn't want your mom to watch the show and be like,
what do you got against Karens? You know,
that's the end of that. Not watching that show anymore. No. But the other Karens can all go to hell. But no, she's great.
But I'll say there's been a lot of that going on lately. You know,
there has been a lot of that,
and just I don't know.
Yeah, there has been a lot of that.
Yeah, tattletales, people telling on business, people telling on you for being out and about. It's not right, man.
Blake, you want to not ruin the last segment of the show, buddy?
Sure.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Because we're going to talk about that later in the show.
And we're really going to talk about that.
Okay, here's the thing. So we have all these show notes. And we have our little broadcasting system set up.
Heck
you can't just do another segment right now.
It's a preview of what's to come.
If you break it up, then the whole thing falls apart.
I'm just building anticipation. That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've been a little bit more proactive this week, and I don't know how to feel about it.
I don't know. Maybe it's the goats.
It may yeah. You're on a goat high. It's what it is.
Yep. Got a lot done on the farm. So.
Well, we got to kill some more time, so let's answer some viewer mail.
Wow, that's cool.
always feel like we have to get some more, like we have some great bumper music, but we have to get some more clip music for our graphics because some of the music we have is like too intense.
Yeah, I know. That was deep, man. I was feeling convicted or something. I don't know.
I can't stress this enough. I actually think we're going to just quit doing the podcast, like quit doing the audio portion of the program, and we're gonna get off of iTunes and Google Play and all that. I think we're just going to go to video only.
Yeah.
I really feel for the people who listen to the show and don't watch, because imagine for those people, it's just us talking every few minutes and then just blanks of space with really intense music,
killer music, like,
and they're like, am I listening to a radio station? Is this a DJ? Which you are a DJ.
Yeah, I am a DJ,
but you're not DJing right now.
No, of course not.
We should do that. We should just have an episode where you've got the headphones on and
listen, man, there's been way too much of that going on lately. I've been seeing that on podcasts everywhere, people sitting down and just literally DJing on their 2 turntables, you know, and I'm like, dude, are you that bored? I mean, some of you guys do that for a living. Do you really just want to sit there and do it online? And what about copyright? Are you going to get in trouble? You know. Anyway.
Well, I mean, you and I are musicians. If we do a musical segment, we're going to play the music.
Heck yeah, man.
Not click play.
No, we're going to play some sounds.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. We're musicians. Okay, so anyway, I don't know. Like, I'm making fun of myself. I don't know. Okay.
No, but hey, man, have you seen this? It's really cool. Like, one of the things that's really come out of this whole situation that we're all in is a lot of the local musicians that I've been seeing lately, they're podcasting their performances. They're setting up like makeshift stages in their living rooms.
Blake.
Yes.
Okay, so again, you're killing it. So we have a call out for artists and musicians and comedians to submit us videos. Although I do want to be clear, you have to actually send us a produced video that's at a minimum like 1080/30. You can't be sending us no cell phone videos, none of that.
Yeah, like last week, that was pretty epic.
Because I feel like I'm just going to address this here today since you brought it up. So this is Blake's fault. I had some people sending me some random, like, sort of kind of pseudo audition tapes and stuff. Guys, we're not going to play those. Like the video quality has to be at least as good as this.
Yeah.
So we had a band on set for their performance, and then we had a band send us an actual produced music video.
We need produced music.
That's what we want.
Right. Exactly.
So you can record yourself doing a performance, or you can send us a pre-produced thing.
Sure.
But no selfies. None of that, guys. We're
nothing
not
from a
that.
cell phone camera. We're talking about
because we're trying to show off people who are like professional artists who have websites, who are trying to get support for their artwork. Yeah. Not hey, I'm bored, Alan. Look what I'm like. If we get to the point where this is just America's funniest home videos. Then you'll know it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, we already did the viewer mail thing, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We played already. So get to the first one.
Okay. Yes. Jeff from don't tell me what to do. You know what? Let's just take some more time. So what are you doing this weekend, Blake?
Yard work.
Ugh, that's okay. Well, we're moving on from that. All right, so anyway, Jeff from Gillette, Pennsylvania writes, Dear Alan and Blake, do you like Mexican or Chinese food more and why? Do you like Mexican or Chinese food more?
I love
Blake?
Both.
But which do you like more and
How
why?
could you like one more than the other? They're both better than American food.
Okay, so Jeff, I'm sorry, Blake can't answer a binary yes or no question because he's
now,
autistic.
Hold on. If he would have phrased it differently, if you had to choose between one or the other, which one would you choose?
If you had to choose, then you would be choosing which one. God! Silence your mic, please. Okay, so do you like Mexican or Chinese food more? I like Mexican more, and he says, and why? Why? It's because A, because it's great, and B, it's basically an enema. So,
oh Lord.
So there you go.
That'll work.
Caleb from Albuquerque, New Mexico writes, Dear Alan and Blake, how have you been getting by with all the sports cancellations? Ugh.
Yeah, that's a you question, man.
Okay. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good because this isn't football. Like it's not NFL / college season. Although true. Kirk Herbstreit, who I think is still with ESPN, I don't know. He was saying that they might delay those seasons. I have a hard time believing that. Because those seasons don't come around until like August, September.
Man, if we're still in this in August and September, we're not.
Toast, that's just fear mongering.
Yeah.
But if this were football season, I think I'd just be crying my eyes out. Yeah, I'd be really bad off. But it's now. But we have missed out on March Madness, dude. That's a bummer.
That's a big deal for basketball too. That's a big deal.
Like I pretty much don't watch NBA. I do watch college basketball, but I basically I just don't even tune in for the first half of the season because who cares?
Yeah.
Like you wait till tournament time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But dude, the tournament, man, it's
gone.
So to answer your question, not well. Suzanne from Colville, Utah writes, "Dear Alan and Blake, can either of you eat a sugared donut without licking your lips?"
This is one of those times where we should have prepared and brought sugared donuts and really tried that. I don't know.
That's a little bit of a disturbing question,
Yeah.
Suzanne.
Then what would I do for the rest of the day? Walk around with sugar on my lips? Weird.
Depends on what you mean by sugar. Daniel from Oak Ridge, Tennessee writes, "Dear Alan and Blake, what's your favorite scene from the movie Tank Girl?" Did you ever see? Remember?
I didn't see Tank Girl.
You didn't see Tank Girl?
No, I have children.
It was awful. What you didn't? I don't think you had children when Tank Girl.
Well,
came
when did
out.
that come out?
Tank Girl's like 15 or 20 years old or something. It's up or 10. It's old. It's not a new movie.
If it ain't been made by Disney and drawn by hand or computer, I ain't seen it. So sorry, it's a kid thing. Just got lots of kids.
That came off as a little pedo-y, Blake. I'm not. Anyway, I'll tell you what the best scene in Tank Girl was the ending credits.
There you go.
Jonathan from Colville, Washington writes, "Dear Alan and Blake, what was your favorite season of Game of Thrones?" You know, I haven't talked about Game of Thrones a lot lately.
Haven't.
And it's because they ruined it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did like 20 episodes or something on that. Remember when we had Brian Kaplan and we talked about borders and then we talked about education and then we talked about what really matters.
I know.
We talked about Game of Thrones.
Yes.
That was probably one of my favorite interviews ever. I like it when our guests come on and indulge me.
Yeah.
In what I want. Yeah, that's what I like. But seriously, I haven't talked about Game of Thrones much at all because they ruined the show.
Yeah.
The answer is season 4. Season 4 was when you had Oberyn Martell, Mountain and the Viper, the Purple Wedding, Tyrion killing Tywin. Spoilers, oops. It's
at this
been
point
years.
it's probably
the battle at Castle Black. Dude, that was peak Game of Thrones. And while it wasn't terrible the next season or two, it definitely had a notable decline starting with season 5. And then season 7 and 8 were just awful. So, I mean, it wound up being an 8-season show where the first 4 seasons I feel like were consistently just you're constantly outdoing yourself. And then it was like, oops, we flew too close to the sun. It's over from there. That's pretty much like this show. T from Madison, Wisconsin writes, "Dear Alan and Blake, what have you been doing to pass the time during the quarantine?" Well, you've been birthing goats.
Shoot, I've been doing a lot more than that.
What have you been doing?
Wow, dude. I mean, I built a playland for the goats out of giant wooden spools that you get from the power company.
I like how everything you're listening is still related to the goats.
I'm a farmer, so when I'm not doing this, I'm doing the farm thing. So yeah, we did. We built a big pig pen, and a pig house. I built a pig house from scratch. Built that, put that together. There's a whole lot of different sorts of interesting things like that. So a lot of work outside, a lot of meat work, man work, muscle, sweat. In the freezing rain, unfortunately.
Really, all I've been doing is just waiting until Blake leaves the studio to go back to work on the farm, and then just stealing some gear and taking it home.
Perks, right?
That's what I mean, oh no, shh! I said too much. And finally, Michael from Jacksonville, Florida writes, and this is a more serious question.
Okay.
Yes. Dear Alan and Blake, if you are against forcing people to do things against their will, then what do you think should be done to combat the pandemic? Okay, so that's a serious question because it is true. I don't think that we should be forcing people to do things against their will. I'm not for the forced business closures. I'm not for enforced quarantines and all that kind of stuff. The stay at home orders, like, so everyone who's perfectly healthy but could potentially get or spread the virus, you all stay at home, which means unless you're bagging groceries or giving people shots, you can't go to work, which means you can't. So I've already gone on record as saying paying my bills is pretty essential. Therefore, I deem myself an essential worker and I get to go to work.
Exactly.
So it is true. So the first half of that, it is true. I am against forcing people to do those things. On the other hand, I understand that, like, so if you have, say you have an elderly family member or a sick family member or
Sure.
someone at home who has a pre-existing condition, and they're someone who would be at serious risk if they were to develop something like COVID-19 or just or the flu or or whatever. Like, I mean, you're supposed to take precautions,
right?
Like in that case. So the first thing I would say is that I'm a little bit off-put by how they've really been nailing on, hey, cover your mouth when you cough. Hey, wash your hands. All like you should be doing that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Like, people are gross, man.
I know.
People are gross. But anyway, more importantly, and this is serious. I understand that people in that situation or people who are caring for elderly friends or family in that situation, I understand that obviously this is it's very serious to you in that case. I guess what I would say is that I still, at the end of the day, because I always err on the side of individual liberty, that and people making their own decisions. I don't think it's best when the government makes decisions for people because they're just not good at it. I think that if you are at risk or if you are caring for someone who is at risk, then you should take precautions and they should take precautions. Like, if I were 84 years old and had leukemia, then I would not be going out to the beach and enjoying spring break with the kids.
It comes down to personal responsibility.
Yeah. So I mean, so I understand those people wanting to take extra precautions, but that's very much on you to take those precautions and not subjecting at-risk people to them, either directly or indirectly via you going on spring break and then coming back home to grandma. Right. If you care about grandma that much and you think people shouldn't be out there, then you start with yourself.
That's right.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. So I know that there's some people that are not good with that because they just can't get their jollies unless everyone has a gun pointed at their head and told them what to do. I'm not about that. So good luck.
Yeah.
I don't know how to end that other than
what are you going to do?
other than good luck. But I don't know. There's my answer. Take it or leave it.
Right.
Guys, we'll be right back after this break. Your ad could be playing right now, reaching thousands of potential customers. Sadly, it's not, but it could be. Find out how to be an advertised sponsor for It's Too Late with Alan Mosley. Email us at alan@funnybroke.com.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That was I like. I guess it's the next one. It's the next bumper that I think is our favorite.
Yes.
And you'll understand why here in a minute.
You'll see why.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, getting to our more important business of this week. I wanted to talk about a few different businesses and organizations that are being affected by all of the enforced shutdowns and mandates and everything. And that's actually hitting close to home now because our wonderful governor here in Tennessee, Bill Lee, he issued an order where it's not mandated that individuals have to stay home. It's highly recommending it, but it's not enforcing it. Right. But it is enforcing businesses to be closed. Yeah. That are not on the essential list or whatever. And again, we already went over that, so I don't want to go into that. But there's some people that are losing a lot of money, losing jobs, that sort of thing over it. And there's a few I've picked out in particular I think are kind of interesting for this week. So this is the first one right here. So this is actually Williamson Medical Center. So Williamson Medical Center is actually here in Middle Tennessee, one of the bigger hospitals here in Middle Tennessee. Now, this is an essential business, right? A hospital, that's an essential business, right? Yeah. But listen to this. Williamson Medical Center furloughing over 200 employees due to COVID-19 financial constraints. So listen to this. Williamson Medical Center is placing over 200 employees on temporary furlough leave to, quote, conserve financial resources. Williamson Medical Center cites the cancellation of elective procedures and system-wide protection guidelines that, quote, drastically reduce our number of patient visits, treatments, and procedures, leading to the significant decrease in hospital revenue. You can kill that graphic. They expect the furloughs to remain in effect for several weeks. The furloughs will go into effect on Wednesday, April 1st. Ooh, that's today.
Yeah.
April Fools!
April Fools!
This is not a really fun April Fool's episode.
No, because we're not fools.
The hospital says it is their intention that furloughed employees will be called back in as soon as circumstances allow, which means
Good luck.
they don't have any idea.
Yeah.
I thought this was really interesting because, I
It's a
mean,
hospital.
200 employees is not a lot, but I mean, they only employ like 1,600. So for me, that's a fair amount.
Yeah.
But the thing is that this is what people don't understand. It's that even though, like, you hear all this stuff in the news of, oh, the hospitals are going to be packed, there won't be any empty beds, you would think that would mean all hands would be on deck. This is not the case. So first of all, the hospital's not full. All the beds are not completely taken. That was a bit over the top in reporting by our corporate press. But the point being is that some of the mandates have said that, oh, you're supposed to be conserving resources for COVID-19 patients. You're not supposed to be taking this time for just generic appointments, for elective procedures and that sort of thing. Anything that you can put off till later, they put it off so that they can keep all hands on deck for COVID-19. But what people don't understand is, I mean, hospitals, I mean, they're businesses, they got to make money. And they make money doing those procedures and having appointments and checkups and all that stuff. And so since they have canceled a lot of those types of appointments, the hospital is not making the same kind of money they would normally make. And also because there's not anywhere near the COVID-19 patients that they thought there would be. And so because of that, they're making less money. They've had to furlough employees. I just thought that was really interesting that of all the people that are laying people off or whatever, a hospital is also doing it because they're also feeling the pinch. That's very interesting to me. But we know some other businesses obviously are feeling the pinch, and that's your malls, your department stores, people who don't sell like pharmacy and grocery type goods. So listen to this. Ditto for Macy's, Kohl's, and more. So Macy's and Kohl's are furloughing store workers and other employees, and that also is including JCPenney, Gap, and some other ones. Listen to this. Majority of Macy's workforce, that's estimated 125,000 employees, are slated to be furloughed.
Wow.
And again, I mean, that sounds terrible, but I mean, it shouldn't be a shock, right? They're all closed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, if all the stores are closed, then they're gonna write everybody off until they can open back up. And this also applies to Kohl's. For Kohl's, that's 85,000. So 85,000 employees for Kohl's are being furloughed. If anything, I was like, when I looked up these articles and I was looking at some of like just the public reaction, there was like all this feigned outrage of people like, oh, I can't believe it. Like, how can they do that? And people are not going to know if they're going to have a job to come back to and yada, yada, yada. But why are you surprised?
I know.
No one's shopping because they're not allowed to.
Yeah.
The stores have been told, but in a lot of their states, you have no choice but to remain closed, which means they're not making any money. The cashiers are not ringing anyone out. So, of course, the stores aren't open. Of course, the employees are not employed. It's just, it just goes to show, I feel like there's a lot of naivete of people who, they don't understand that, you know, if in your own little individual bubble, if your world just like, say you just got sick, like there's nothing going on in the world, you just get really sick and so you're out of school or work for a week or two. In your little bubble, the world kind of freezes for a week or two. But you can't freeze the world and the economy and everyone in it. And you can't freeze everyone's bills and everyone's wants and needs for a week or two or 3 or 4 or months, depending on where you live and how they're reacting to it. And it just really surprises me how many people are acting shocked when some news like this comes out. In my response being, what did you expect was going to happen? Like, how long do you think these places could remain closed before they would start taking measures, right?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. And then, so finally, I saved the best one for last. Now, remember last week when we were talking about the porkapalooza? The pork that was in the stimulus bill?
Oh, yeah.
Remember how I said that they appropriated $25 million for the Kennedy Center?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
JFK Center of Performing Arts. Say it ain't so, Kennedy Center. Listen to this. The Kennedy Center announced Tuesday that it will furlough 60% of its full-time administrative staff starting April 6th and at least through May 10th. The Performing Arts Center and Memorial for President John F. Kennedy received $25 million in funding in the $2.2 trillion stimulus package passed by the Senate last week. So they get a $25 million bailout or appropriation or whatever you want to call it. And like they haven't even cashed the check yet, and they're still going to be laying people off.
That's crazy.
Now I know that there's going to be some people out there that if you dig into it, you'll see that their intent is to keep everybody on. Their intent is to try to cover some wages and things like that. But I don't believe that for a second. Like there's no reason for us to believe the good intentions that our wise overlords have. So I don't believe that in their statement. I do believe that they're about to get a $25 million check, and they'll probably use it in some untold ways.
Some really
Maybe
cool
some
lights.
Percentage of that will go to some folks who work for the Kennedy Center. But by and large, I'm willing to bet A, they'll waste it, and B, it just kind of sends the wrong message to me. And also, by the way, I also wanted to point out United Airlines. I didn't have a graphic for them, but I'll point them out as well.
Yeah.
They actually released so this is a little bit old news now because this happened right after we had recorded our episode last week. The ink was still drying on the $2.2 trillion stimulus that included billions for the airlines. The ink was still drying on the stimulus package. And they had already released a statement saying that they didn't think that the bailout was enough, and that as soon as they were allowed to lay people off, they were planning on laying people off.
Jeez.
So it's like those are the people that are getting your billions of taxpayer dollars. It's just,
nice.
Like I said, even if there was a shred of truth to what they were saying, to me, it was like the worst optics in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the worst marketing decision on their part for people to be grumpy because they just got another taxpayer bailout, but they haven't even cashed the checks yet. And guys, I don't think that's enough. I think we're still going to have to lay some people off. Like, yeah. This is a point. I'll finish with this before we move on to the final segment. This is the same point I would make with the bailouts. It's the same point I would make with the Kennedy Center or the airlines. It's the same point I've made with education in the past. Is that there is no amount of money that's enough. If you were to ask, a teachers union, say you were to ask this, whatever. If you ask any of those people, if they say, well, if we just had more money, we'd be able to do X, Y, and Z. If you leveled with them and said, okay, I'll bite, but you have to give me a number. You can't just say more and just get more forever and your budget goes up. No.
Right.
I want you to tell me today, how much more money do you need right now to fix what ails you, to get those test scores up, to get those planes in the sky and to be able to make a buck off the tickets and not fleece your customers with baggage fees and whatever, to be able to keep the Kennedy Center open during tough times and not squander the money on some needless statue or improvement. Yeah. How much more money do you need? Give me an actual number that once you have that amount of money, you won't come back to the table asking for any more. The problem is that they can't give you a number because there isn't a number. Right. It's better for them to just say more. Because then they can always say, we need more, and the budget just goes up and up and up. It would not behoove them to say, oh, I need about $1.6 billion, because if by some crazy chance they got that $1.6 billion, and then they didn't use it wisely, and then it ran out, and they still had needs, then we would say, well, but you gave us a number, right? And we gave it to you. How could you possibly need any more? More. You know what? You know who needs? We need more. Yeah, we definitely need more. So we definitely need some more. Now. I don't know if you've been watching the last couple of commercials. You can email us at alan@funnybroke.com or go to patreon.com/Alan Mosley. That's right. We definitely need some more. Yep. I'm not going to give you a number. Nope. I'm just going to tell you we need more. Guys, we'll be right back after this break. I knew it. We got. That's the only part of the show we got down. There it is. So we don't have a musical performance this week because frankly we couldn't get one that was good enough.
Right. Sorry. That's why people need to keep trying to submit some good stuff. Right. We'll find.
Yeah. Send us some good stuff.
That's right. Send us good stuff.
But so I wanted to do just a really quick final segment this week to touch on something Blake had already brought up. So I'm sure most of you guys have heard the phrase snitches get stitches.
That's right.
Now, I'm not saying that we're supposed to kill people who snitch because
No.
we're for non-aggression. We don't believe in violence.
Yes.
But you know, I always these are the worst teachers in school. The worst teachers in school were the ones who glorified that. Like they rewarded people tattletaling on other people. It's like, aren't you supposed to be taught to work out your differences yourself?
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to be taught that if something's not hurting you, then just stay in your lane, Karen?
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly it. And so to the point of our meme from earlier in the episode, there was one graphic I wanted to show, and this is just one example we have.
Oh.
This was a lady. Listen to this. This Bethany Byron right here, who wrote this article for Business Insider. I saw this because I saw someone had retweeted her. She left a tweet that said, quote, "Yesterday I got a tip that Hobby Lobby was secretly reopening stores and violating state-mandated closures.
Oh, no.
So I called all 39 stores in Wisconsin and Ohio and found that 36 of them reopened on Monday." Karen, stop it. Stop it, Karen.
Jeez.
Like, here's the thing.
What did you call them?
I had a few other graphics. I decided to scrap them, but one was from New Mexico, one was from the UK. They have actually got hotlines set up all over the country and overseas. There's hotlines set up for people to snitch.
Yeah.
For your neighbors to call and tell on you saying, "Hey, they've got more than 10 people over. Hey, they're only supposed to have one walk outside a day and they're on their second walk."
Oh.
Something that I've said before that I've taken a little bit of heat for, because frankly, you guys are just naive fools. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know who you are, you naive fools.
Mm-hmm.
There's people out there that always, you're my 3%er types. You're people that always say, people won't take this laying down. They're going to rise up and protest this or that. Like protesting ever did anything.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have this romantic idea that and we'll just stay in America, Americans at large, the American people won't put up with certain things. And that people, like the people, is just this one body that all are of a singular mind of knowing and respecting their rights and one another. And that if tyranny were to show up, then they would all lock arm in arm and say, "No, we won't put up with this." That's the biggest load of crock there ever was. And I've said on this show before, and I've taken heat for saying it, that the feds will never have to come shut down anything you're doing. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because they'll have your neighbors do it for them.
Yeah.
It'll be your neighbors that'll tell on you. It'll be your neighbors who will call a hotline to tell them you're operating a business when you shouldn't be. That you have more than 10 people over. There's a bunch of cars outside. They're being too loud. It's after curfew. They're taking a walk on the public street when they're supposed to be staying at home. They don't have to, like a lot of people think, oh, they're gonna send out the National Guard and they're gonna be patrolling the streets and it's gonna be like Caesar bringing the army into Rome. It won't be. You know why they don't have to do that? Your neighbors will do it for them.
They'll red flag you.
They'll red flag you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your neighbors will be the one to tell on you. And you know what? When you go down, when you take it upon yourself to exercise your freedoms and liberties, to use your life and property the way you want, and to not to be told by the government what you can say, how you can say it, where you can go, and how you can do it, it'll be your neighbors that'll rat you out. And they'll be happy when you get the handcuffs.
Yep.
They'll be, because they will feel justified that they've done the right thing. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you one last quick little rant before we wrap up. I've actually seen a lot of people who normally, during normal times, are the kind of people that is, oh, I would never do that. I would never do that. I think people should do what they want to do as long as they don't hurt other people. Those same people now are saying, but this is a crisis. Yeah. This is a pandemic. This is a national emergency.
This is serious.
This is serious.
Serious.
Guys, you remember how I used to always say on the old show, people don't have any principles?
Yeah.
If you don't have principles during an emergency, then you don't have principles.
Right.
And most people don't have principles. So I look forward to all of your angry comments of all the people saying, "Well, I'm not like that." I know not everyone is like that, but I'm willing to bet north of 90%. I'm willing to bet it's north of 90% of people will snitch on you if you walk your dog too many times today during the quarantine. I promise you. I'm not joking. I think it's north of 90%. I really wish we would have had a musical guest because now I'm all angry and stuff. We're not supposed to be angry anymore on this show.
You're supposed to be happy and laughing and having fun.
Well, this is your... Why didn't you stop me?
Oh, because you were on a roll, man. I was just loving it.
You like when I'm in pain. I see that.
I like it when you're mad, baby.
Please don't do Austin Powers.
Sorry.
Please don't.
I can't help myself.
You want to go to the finale?
Sure.
Let's take a final break.
Here we go.
Like us on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/funnybroke. You can follow me on Twitter. That's Twitter @Alan M. Mosley. Subscribe to us on our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/funnybroke. I've had a moment to calm down during that 8-year-long party we had. We were just talking that again, if you're not watching, then everyone who's just listening, just listen to like 3 minutes of just wow, and they're like, what happened? Like, did they?
What's going on there?
Like, they think that the show ended and like the YouTube went to another video. Like they don't think it's the same show.
Right.
It is. You know, there's probably a section of the audience who's missed every single finale because they probably they think the show's over.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They get to that point and it's over, yeah. Anyway.
Well, I mean, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want it to be over.
No.
I want us to make some money. And,
that's right.
So we can keep on doing bigger and better shows.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's up to you guys at home.
Yep.
So please consider supporting the show. It's patreon.com/Alan Mosley. You can go to our website, funnybroke.com. Be a sponsor for the show. Just email me, alan@funnybroke.com. Wait till your Trump bucks get here. And I know you guys are not commies. You won't take that socialist money. So you just sign those checks over to me and I will dispose of it for you.
Oh, and don't forget, musicians send us awesome music videos in the next program.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to advertise other people so they get
right.
money too. It's not, I mean, it's not just all for me.
Yep.
It's mostly for me. Some of it's for Blake, and what's left over, it's trickle-down economics. It's just how it is. Guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of It's Too Late with Alan Mosley, and we will see you next week.